Hi, I'm Rick from my phone. Welcome to another video. This is the last video I'm filming in Indianapolis before I move to New York. So the next time you see me, I will be in a different place for probably a long time. So yeah, it's a lot. We're kind of buzzing about it. I literally am getting in the U-Haul tomorrow. Like, we are going. So I have a lot of nervous and excited energy that I want to just channel into talking about what I want to see from music in 2025. With that, let's just get into it. First thing I have, and this can apply in many ways, but it is this simple idea of quality versus quantity. There was a lot of music that got released in 2024, and a lot of it was great. I don't really have that many complaints about 2024's music landscape as a whole, except for it was a lot to keep up with. I feel like everyone was trying to drop an album, even if they had an album come out earlier this year, or it had been so long and they decided that now is the time for their comeback. Wait some time. I just felt like I was listening to so many new albums this year, and it felt a lot more densely populated than it had been in the past. I don't think it was just because I had explored new artists and gotten to know them. I think it was also because there was just a lot of artists dropping in general. I think it was hard to have each artist have their own era. They got maybe a week of attention before it got moved on to the next artist. So I am hopeful that a lot of the artists that dropped in 2024 are gonna sit this one out. That 2025 can be for musicians that have releases recently as 2023, but maybe even far back, and maybe have some comebacks there, so that we can actually appreciate the music that's going down our throats. Even though I expect to listen to as much music as I did in 2024, I hope that a lot of those albums are stuff I'm catching up with rather than stuff that is just actively being sent out to me. So for artists that release in 2024, I would like you to chill. Maybe come up with your new era, tour your era, have maybe a deluxe, but I do not want the vibes of I just dropped this hour and a half long project for you, even though I gave you new music last year as well. I just don't need that. I know that is partial in helping you make your living, and I know that the fans want it. And I know if it happens, I probably will appreciate it, but, take a breather, relax, reset. That's how I'm trying to go into the new year as I am moving and all these things, is just take a deep breath, calm, it'll all come at the time it's supposed to come. This also kind of dovetails nicely, but there are several artists that I would love to see them make their long-awaited return. Maybe artists who recently dropped in 2023, like Miley Cyrus, I would love to see what she's up to these days. But I also know I would love to see Lorde come back, or Madonna come back. They all have rumors of having albums coming soon. So I would like to see these artists that we get excited about because they do deliver an era, something unique, a different vision. And I think while we let all the people from 2024 take a break and reset and recalibrate, I would like to see some of these artists that don't come every year, that they have their splash. I feel like a lot of artists that had a comeback in 2024 were often overshadowed just by the sheer abundance of music that was at our disposal and didn't get the true celebration that they deserved. So I would like this year, again, if we have all these heavy hitters that are regular heavy hitters, just calm and relax, or tour or whatever. I think artists like Madonna or Lorde or Miley or these other artists that don't release every calendar year or even every other calendar year, I feel like they will have more time to be fully appreciated for the work that they provide. I'd like to see more of those comebacks more than comebacks of artists that just released new music this past year. And something they can do instead is touring. And now I know Ticketmaster and Live Nation is out for everyone's paychecks at this point. So I understand that touring is not necessarily always profitable, or there's a lot of price gouging, or it doesn't let people casually access your music for free. But musicians do have to make a living. So I think touring your work, especially now I will be moving to a city that always gets a tour date, almost always does. I would love to see more tours. I have created a spreadsheet with concerts I hope to see when I'm in New York, artists I hope to see when they eventually tour, and I'm just waiting for a lot more of those tour dates to drop. I think with the election and everything, as well as a lot of people just trying to figure out what their move is for the upcoming year, and if they are releasing an album this upcoming year, I think they are deciding how they want to share that, whether it's some impromptu live performances or TV show live performances or a whole tour. I would love it to be the latter, just because then I can see them myself. But I would love to see a lot more live music and a lot more visions within that, not just playing songs just because you can, but having a whole era with it because you absolutely can. The fourth thing on my list is I would love to continue the trend that we had this year of a lot of artists that were not big names rising to the forefront. Yeah, we had Taylor Swift be like the most streamed artist this year, or we had Billie Eilish's Birds of a Feather become like the most streamed song on Spotify for like this year or something like that. But Chappell Roan, Sabrina Carpenter, Charlie XCX, Shabuzi, many artists whose names were not in our mouths last year are now the topic on everyone's lips and the music in everyone's headphones. I really like that. I really like people getting to be like the next big thing or a best new artist. I feel like this best new artist category at the Grammys is stacked this year. I knew all of them but one. That's wild. And I don't even think it's just me being in tune with music. I feel like most people know a lot of the artists that are being represented here. I would like to see that play out as a very competitive race for Best New Artist for this Grammys. And I hope that next year's Grammys will also then have a similarly competitive thing because we have so many artists that got recognized this year. I think it would be really cool to continue seeing the music industry change and shift with different faces, have some new voices into the mix. Because I think those albums this year were the ones that stood out, not the ones that were necessarily made by industry giants. Something I would like to critique in today's modern music landscape that I would like to actively change is that I would like less overt sampling in songs. I understand if you take some beat from a song in the 60s or something like that, and you've remixed it and you made it a hip hop beat or something like that. That's totally cool. That's not what I'm talking about. Overt sampling to me is relying on the production, the instrumentation, or the lyrics from an already popular piece of work. I'm talking like Crystal Waters' She's Homeless that Katy Perry samples with I'm His, He's Mine, or anything that David Guetta is releasing these days. I do not like this trend. It's lazy. It is the definition of just trying to make a song that people vibe to, but it's not creative. And I think music is best when it feels creative. And that can mean that it's still engineered for mainstream popular attention. The songs already had their moments. If you want to call back to eras, that's fine, but I think you can do better than just rewriting the words with the exact same melody for a chorus in something that was already a better song, was already a great song once. Let's just play that song again. Rather than having you make up your own unique karaoke moments, it really has made me lose respect for producers that are doing that, because if you are saying that your job as a producer and you are producing using just fully existing stuff, you're a DJ. You're not a producer at that point. There's nothing wrong with being a DJ. It just isn't the same thing. Creating original work and manipulating existing work are not the same thing. We don't treat that the same in literature. We don't treat that the same in movies or anything else. So I'm not going to change that standard for music. I also am thinking with the potential downfall of TikTok that some more songs could slap the whole way through. I feel like a lot of songs that are designed to do well on TikTok, or a lot of songs that do well on TikTok, have some moment in it that is very captionable, memeable, replicable, something that just tracks, And I think if people are turned away from watching this short-filled content where they listen to the whole song, I think there could be more songs that come out where the whole song really matters rather than just having a moment in the song that is the standout highlight moment. And the thing is, a lot of the songs that I have liked this year, I knew before TikTok was into them. I knew Chappell Roan before she blew up. I knew Sabrina Carpenter and listened to Espresso Week 1. Like, these songs were not things that I heard because of the trends. I heard it because of my own personal interest. And so I don't know whether these artists got big with these songs specifically from a snippet or a TikTok dance or whatever. Sometimes I do know if, like, it was told to me, like the Apple dance from Charlie XCX, for example. But I feel like a lot of songs that have become popular lately on the charts have generally been the whole song. So if that is the trend that we have already had in 2024, and I hope that continues into 2025. And finally, the last thing I wanted to talk about is I want the streaming models to change, because I heard Spotify is not paying me anymore. Spotify is not paying a lot of people anymore. Most streaming services are not paying many people anymore. Taylor Swift was right like a decade ago about how streaming really is screwing over creators. Now, does that affect her paycheck at the end of the day? Not really. But I think she had a point when she was like, okay, y'all, you should do better. And I think the fact that we have made it so that music feels like it's a free commodity, when it takes a lot of effort, it often costs a lot of money. And it's one of the reasons why it's held me back from creating more music, is that there's money involved in it. And it's not something as simple as, oh, well, you have the paintbrush and you have some paint, you can make a masterpiece. Obviously, that's not as simple either. But there's a lot of things that go into it. And I think these streaming platforms feeling like it's free material and then them just profiting heavily off of this supposed free material, it's horrifying. And I hate AI taking over a lot of it. It just feels like they are just trying to maximize profits over people, which, I mean, that's just corporate America, the corporate world as a whole. But it's made me not want to sing my praises to any streaming platform. Am I still going to be probably on Spotify or other streaming platforms? Probably. Will their policies change in the near future? Probably not. But I would like to envision and manifest a world in which people are being paid fairly for stuff. It's one of the reasons why I want them to tour, so I can actually support them much more financially, because I get a CD if I really like an album, but I don't use my record player. I don't need a cassette. I don't need all these merch items. So experiencing them on tour would be something that I'd be more personally interested in. And so I would like to support them financially in that way, so that they don't have to worry about the abysmal payouts that these streaming platforms are giving. That's really all I had to say. I just wanted to put in some good energy for this year. I talked last week about my goals, and I really enjoyed discussing those with you guys. I also have really enjoyed talking to you today about what I hope to see from music this year. And I want to hear your thoughts on what you want to see from music this year. Please let me know all your thoughts down in the comments below. Let's see what the year actually has in store in due time. If you like this video, please like it, please comment down below what you'd like me to do next on my channel. Please subscribe to my channel if you're not already and you'd like to be. And thanks for watching. This is TurtleStormer. Catch you later.
Get out of the zone.